Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Denver Homes Market Report. Where are we now? Wow, this is our 19th show. This is Ricky.schoonover of Mode Real Estate. We have an amazing show lined up for you today. This is our monthly report. This is where I dive into our local MLS time machine, take a trip back to July 2019. I examined all the transactions for the month of July last year. I looked at homes that sold for $499,000 and below. I also looked at all the homes that were sold from $500,000 and up. I separated the detached homes from the attached homes. Then, fast forward to July 2020. I checked the exact same data for this past month. This is going to be a very informative episode. However, I do need to ask that you really listen. I try to keep numbers to a minimum here at the Denver Homes Market Report. It's sometimes difficult to follow numbers while on a podcast, but these are so much fun to dive into each month, and our monthly comparison to last year is so important for you to know. You need to know what's going on in the real estate market so you can make the most informed decision possible based on your particular situation. Especially now, with all that's going on in the world. If you indeed own, your home may be one of the largest financial tools in your toolbox. And when you use these tools to your advantage, you may have more opportunities to help you through these trying times. If you do not own your own home right now, but you're in one of the many professions where you're working your tail off right now, you're racking up overtime, you're working every day, and you don't have the time or the energy to get out much and spend that money, you may be finding yourself in a very good position where you may be able to get your foot in the door and own your own home. You may have the 3.5% down payment for an FHA loan. This is a loan many first-time homebuyers use to get started in real estate. Heck, I bought my first home way back in the year 2000. And what do you think I used? I did not have anywhere near 20%. I used the FHA loan and put down 3.5%. I mean, of course, we have the world pandemic, which it seems we here in the US are really having a tough time getting a handle on. This is really sad and continues to weigh on our healthcare system and our economy, when we all know darn well what we need to do to crush this thing. Wash our hands, keep our physical distance, wear our masks when near others. If you're feeling sick, isolate and inform others around you to do the same. That is it. This is the magic formula, and for whatever reason, we as a nation cannot seem to get a handle on these very basic ways to break the cycle and drastically reduce new infections. In addition to all this, we are in an election year, so that plays even more into the political mayhem. There is no room here for politics, and it seems we almost cannot address any issue these days without it becoming a political tool. So we'll all agree that the medical experts are doing what they can. We all need to do what we can, and we will get through this together. Please, whatever your political preference might be, take the time, read up on the issues which are important to you, and get your voice heard by getting out the vote when the time comes. All right, so we have a healthcare crisis. This plays into an economic crisis. You tie those two together with a political election cycle, and well, you have a formula for a huge amount of fear, misinformation, doubt, and insecurity. So, we are all in this storm together. That is true. But we are not all in the same stage in our lives. And so this pandemic is affecting many different people in many different ways. There is no doubt there are many people who are hurting. There are no two ways about it. This is putting a huge strain on so many. With that being said, there are those of you who may be lucky enough to have a secure job right now. For those of you who own your own homes, there are opportunities out there for those who have the ability to weather this storm and perhaps even find a path to long-term financial security. So please, allow me to at least address the one issue where I can, my experience and my research into our local Denver real estate market. You may or may not know our local MLS covers much more than simply the city of Denver. Our local MLS covers from east of the airport all the way to even listings in Blackhawk and Keystone, and from north of Fort Collins to the south side of Castle Rock. Our local MLS has data on a huge area of coverage. So don't think today's podcast is just in our little city of Denver. If you happen to live in the outer suburbs, this information pertains to you as well as in the city. I'm using the entire MLS, and I'm using the exact same metric for both July 2019 and directly compared to July 2020. So you would think with all that's going on and my taking the time to really spell out all the factors that there are going to be in today's episode, you may feel like this is going to be some dire information. Well, let's dive right in, see the numbers, and see how all this washes out. Well, first, take a look at July 2019. Let's first look at the detached homes or houses. I started first with homes that were sold for $499,000 and less. We had 3,322 transactions. Then I pulled the numbers for houses which were sold for $500,000 and up, which we had 2,055. So for single family homes, we sold a total of 5,377 for the month of July 2019. That's 5,377 for the month of July 2019. Then I looked at the total number of attached homes. These would be all the condos and townhouses, half duplexes, etc. We closed 1,892 deals on attached homes in July of 2019. So when you combine the detached homes along with all the attached homes, we get a grand total of 7,269 deals closed just in the month of July for 2019. I then went through the exact same exercise for July 2020. I started with all the houses under $499,000, which we closed 3,247 deals. I then pulled the numbers for houses sold for $500,000 and above, in which we had 2,982 deals closed. So for single family homes sold this year's July, we had 6,229. That's pretty good. When we just look at single family homes, we put together and closed 852 more deals in July of 2020 than we did for July of 2019. 852 more deals. Now, let's factor in the attached homes, the condos and townhomes. As of July 2020, we had 2,179 deals closed. When you add that to the houses sold, you get a grand total, 8,408 deals closed for the month of July 2020. That is 1,139 more buyers and sellers coming together, making deals happen, even with everything we have going on. So why? What is driving this huge metric of our economy? This is why way back in like May, I was saying this is not like the crash of 2009, 2010, where the driving factor was the mortgage loans and the housing bust. This was driven first by a health crisis and the fallout from that. So how is it that real estate seems to be surviving and, dare I say, even thriving in this crisis? The first thing that comes to mind are interest rates. I was just speaking to my lender partner, Jackson Riggs, over at the Mortgage Network. Right now, if you have excellent credit, you are putting down at least 20%, and all the stars are aligned, she is advertising rates at 2.99%. Yes, for perfect situations, no add-ons, a 30-year fixed loan, home buyers are getting rates in the low 3% range here in Denver area. Why does this matter so much? Well, it's two reasons. First, if you own your own home and you have no desire and no plans to sell your home within the next 5 years, then a refinance may be the right move for you at this time. Or if you own your own home and you think it's quite likely that within the next 5 years or so that you will want to either upsize or downsize your home, why on earth would you wait? If you are paying 4% or even higher in interest, then why? Why not get your home on the market, get it sold now while the market is doing well, sell now while the inventory is low, get it sold while buyers are ultra motivated by their circumstances and the low interest rates. You know, I remember speaking last year to folks who knew they needed a new home, but they would talk themselves out of it by saying to me, well, you know, I need a bigger house, but the market is so expensive everywhere. So if I sell this home, I will still need to buy in this crazy expensive market. And although this still holds true, however, now you are selling your home, and during that process, you are paying off your current loan, which likely could be 4% or even higher. And now you are trading that for a new mortgage on your new home, somewhere in the low 3% range. That would mean hundreds of dollars per month in savings compared to your old interest rate in your current home. Refinancing is not free. It may take you up to 5 years to recover those costs to refinance. That's why, if you're likely to sell in the next 5 years or so, do not do a refinance. Take this opportunity, get yourself into your new home now with that new lower rate. So if you buy a home that better fits your needs today and will continue to do so for years to come, and you go from 4% rate to the low 3% rate, you potentially save hundreds of dollars a month. That is why you sell now, buy in this market, the opportunity is there. Another reason why real estate market so far is holding up is due to the fact we have enjoyed 10 years of economic expansion. Home values have gone up every year for nearly the past decade. There are many people, particularly those who bought a few years back, who all now have a substantial amount of wealth tied up into their homes. Finally, you have the hard-working folks I mentioned earlier, the scientists, the healthcare providers, the supply chain workers, grocery store managers, the trucking and shipping industry, the mortgage industry, etc. You have a huge swath of the workforce who are not hit hard financially, and in fact are working more hours than they even care to. There are many in this section of the economy who, for the very first times in their lives perhaps, are close to saving up that 3.5% that they can take advantage of the low interest rates and get their foot in the door of home ownership. The longer all this drags on, the harder it is for all sectors to stay afloat. But for now, if you have decent credit, you feel your job is secure, this may be an opportunity for you. If you are listening to today's podcast and you are wondering where you are in all of this, are you the person I'm speaking to? You own a home. You think you'll sell in the next 5 years or so. Your credit is decent. Your job is secure. You can sell now. Take advantage of the lower rates. Perhaps you're close to saving up that 3.5% down payment, and you could get your foot in the door on homeownership. If any of this is making sense to you, give me a call. Regardless of if you're ready to make a move now or not, we can discuss your specific situation and help you make a more informed decision. Do not let the virus paralyze you into not acting and potentially losing out on an opportunity. Here, I'm going to give you a few seconds. This is important. Grab a pen and paper or send yourself a text. Now be safe. Don't write or text while you're driving or operating any heavy machinery. Okay, you ready? Take this down. Call Ricky Schoonover. SCHOONOVER at Mode Real Estate. MODE. Phone number here, 720-688-5110. That's 720-688-5110. There. Now you have my number. Give me a call. This call costs you nothing, and together we'll map out what might be the best path forward for you and your situation. Now, I do not have a crystal ball. It's hard to say how quickly a vaccine or other treatments that are being worked on will start having a major influence in getting us back on track. However, they are already treating thousands of patients by extracting the plasma, which contains antibodies, from patients who have recovered. I sure hope this helps until we can actually get to a vaccine. But for now, please wear your masks when you're near others, keep your distance as much as practical, and of course, good hygiene. This is going to wrap up this very important episode of the Denver Homes Market Report. I thank you so much for listening. We are now just about on every platform in which you can consume a podcast. Please tune in each week. Please subscribe. Where I have no idea at this point in Denver where I will be for next week's episode. So for next week, we'll unveil this mystery neighborhood and we'll get current with the real estate market. Have a great week. Please make that call. I'm looking forward to discussing your options.